The Maxwell family's annual business meeting was always an exercise in power dynamics, but this year they'd outdone themselves. I stood in the doorway of our family's corporate headquarters, watching the security guard check his list repeatedly. "I'm sorry, Ms. Maxwell, but you're not on the main conference room list," he said apologetically. "However, your Uncle Richard left instructions. You can wait in the kitchen area." Of course he did. I smoothed down my Bottega Veneta suit. Not that anyone in my family would recognize the brand. To them, I was just Sophia Maxwell, the disappointment who walked away from the family's real estate empire to play with computers, as my uncle so eloquently put it. "The kitchen's fine," I said quietly, thinking about the documents waiting in my briefcase. Documents that would turn this entire meeting upside down. The kitchen was empty except for catering staff preparing for the post-meeting reception. They barely glanced at me, assuming I was just another Maxwell family outcast. If they only knew that Phoenix Technologies, the mysterious tech giant that was about to acquire Maxwell Properties, was actually mine. "Sophia." My cousin Amanda's voice dripped with false concern as she appeared in the kitchen doorway. "Daddy said you might show up. You know this is a shareholders meeting, right? For people who actually own parts of the business." I set my briefcase down carefully. "I'm still a shareholder, Amanda. Grandfather made sure of that." She laughed, adjusting her designer dress. "Oh, that's right. Your precious 2% inheritance. How cute that you still hold on to it." What Amanda didn't know was that over the past 5 years, while they thought I was playing with computers, I'd built Phoenix Technologies into a $4.2 billion company. Through a series of shell corporations and quiet acquisitions, I now controlled 43% of Maxwell Properties shares. Today's meeting wasn't about their planned expansion. It was about my takeover. "Speaking of holding on to things," Amanda continued, "how's your little startup doing? Still working out of that garage?" I thought about my real office, occupying the top 3 floors of the city's most prestigious building. "We manage. Well, try not to embarrass us during the meeting. Not that anyone will notice you in here." She turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and the kitchen staff could use help with the coffee service. At least make yourself useful." I checked my watch, 9:45 a.m. In exactly 15 minutes, the Maxwell family would learn that their mysterious potential buyer, the one they'd been desperately courting for months, was actually the daughter they'd dismissed as a failure. My phone buzzed quietly. A message from my CFO: "Everything's in place. Board votes are confirmed." They won't know what hit them. The kitchen door swung open again, this time revealing my Uncle Richard, the man who'd orchestrated pushing me out of the family business 7 years ago. "Still hiding in kitchens, Sophia?" he smirked. "Some things never change. Though I'm surprised you came today. This meeting is about real business, not whatever little computer games you're playing these days." I thought about Phoenix's latest acquisition, a $500 million AI company that had revolutionized property management systems. The same systems Maxwell Properties desperately needed to stay competitive. "I wouldn't miss it, Uncle Richard. Especially not today." He narrowed his eyes, probably trying to detect any threat in my tone. But I'd learned long ago how to keep my cards close. "Just stay out of the way," he finally said. "We have important investors attending." Important investors. Like the mysterious CEO of Phoenix Technologies, who'd spent the last 6 months negotiating through intermediaries, driving up Maxwell Properties' stock price with hints of a potential buyout. My phone buzzed again. This time from my assistant. "Presentation loaded. Your logo is ready for the big reveal." Through the kitchen door I could hear the main conference room filling up. My family members taking their usual seats of power, probably congratulating themselves on another year of maintaining the Maxwell legacy. If they only knew that legacy was about to change hands. I opened my briefcase and removed a single folder. Inside was the document that would reshape everything they thought they knew about their family's failure. The kitchen staff began preparing coffee service as the meeting time approached. One of them, an older woman, looked at me sympathetically. "Would you like a cup, miss? Meetings can be long when you're waiting." I smiled, thinking of the boardroom chaos that was about to unfold. "No thank you. I won't be waiting much longer." The sound of my uncle's voice carried through the kitchen door as he called the meeting to order. I stood up, straightening my suit jacket and checking my reflection in a stainless steel fridge. The woman they'd banished to the kitchen looked nothing like the CEO whose company was about to acquire their empire. "Ladies and gentlemen," Uncle Richard's voice boomed, "today marks a historic moment for Maxwell Properties. As you know, we've been in discussions with Phoenix Technologies about a potential acquisition." My phone lit up with a message from my legal team. "All shares confirmed. You control 43% through various holdings. Board votes secured. Green light." I picked up my briefcase and walked to the kitchen door, pausing as I heard Amanda's voice. "Daddy says Phoenix's CEO is brilliant. Nothing like our dear cousin who thinks running a startup means she's in tech." Perfect timing. I pushed open the door just as Uncle Richard was pulling up the first presentation slide. "Before we begin, I'd like to address the rumors about Phoenix Technologies' leadership." "Please do," I said clearly, walking into the conference room. The silence was immediate and absolute. "Sophia," my uncle's face reddened, "this is a private meeting. Return to the kitchen." I smiled, taking the seat at the far end of the table, the one reserved for Phoenix's representatives. "Actually, Uncle Richard, I'm exactly where I need to be. Please, continue with your presentation about Phoenix's leadership." "This is ridiculous." Amanda stood up. "Security." "Sit down, Amanda." I opened my laptop, connecting it to the room's display system. "Unless you want to explain to the board why you're throwing out the CEO of Phoenix Technologies." The room erupted in confused whispers. My uncle's face went from red to pale in record time. "What are you talking about?" I pressed a key and Phoenix's logo filled the screen, followed by my official company biography and ownership documentation. Perhaps I should introduce myself properly. Sophia Maxwell, founder and CEO of Phoenix Technologies, current market value $4.2 billion. "That's impossible," my cousin Michael sputtered. "You run a small software company." "No," I corrected him. "I run one of the largest tech conglomerates in the country. The same company that owns 43% of Maxwell Properties through various subsidiaries. The same company you've been desperately trying to impress for the past 6 months." I projected a complex web of ownership diagrams onto the screen. "While you were all busy mocking my little startup, I was building something bigger than Maxwell Properties ever was. And now, I own enough shares to control the vote on any acquisition offer." My uncle gripped the edge of the table, his knuckles white. "You've been planning this." "Planning? Oh. Succeeding despite your constant attempts to undermine me?" "Yes." I opened my briefcase and began distributing folders. "Inside you'll find my formal offer to acquire Maxwell Properties. The terms are non-negotiable." Amanda was frantically flipping through the documents. "This can't be legal. Daddy, do something." "Everything's perfectly legal," I assured her. "Your father should know. He's the one who taught me to always read the fine print. Like the clause in grandfather's will that prevented my 2% inheritance from being diluted. The same 2% that gave me voting rights and access to all shareholder information." The board members were whispering among themselves, clearly impressed by the complexity of my acquisition strategy. Several were already nodding approvingly at the terms in my offer. "Why?" my uncle finally asked, his voice barely controlled. "Why all the secrecy? Why not just come to us directly?" I stood up, walking to the front of the room. "Would you have taken me seriously? The same niece you banished to the kitchen? The cousin you mock at every family gathering?" I gestured to the screen showing Phoenix's market performance. "Sometimes success is sweeter when they never see it coming." "The board will never approve this," Michael declared, but his voice wavered. "The board already has," I replied calmly. "Check your phones. The votes were confirmed 10 minutes ago. Maxwell Properties is now a subsidiary of Phoenix Technologies." The room exploded into chaos. Amanda burst into tears, smearing her perfect makeup. Michael slumped in his chair, finally speechless. And my uncle, the man who'd spent years telling me I'd never amount to anything, looked like he'd seen a ghost. "Now," I took my place at the head of the table, "shall we discuss the future of Maxwell Properties? I have some ideas about modernizing our operations. Starting with the kitchen. It seems like a terrible place for a CEO to wait, don't you think?" The aftermath of my revelation swept through the business world like wildfire. By evening, every major financial news outlet was running the story. Tech CEO's secret family takeover. Maxwell heiress returns as conqueror. From Outcast to Empire, the Sophia Maxwell story. I sat in my real office watching the city lights flicker on as the sun set. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since the meeting. Amanda, please, we need to talk. This is our family's legacy. Michael, you can't just take over like this. Uncle Richard, the family needs to meet. Immediately. Mom, darling, why didn't you tell us? We could have helped. I smiled at that last one. My mother, who'd stood silently by while Uncle Richard pushed me out, now wanted to claim some credit for my success. Miss Maxwell. My assistant Emma appeared at the door. Your uncle is in the lobby. He's demanding to see you. Let him wait 15 minutes, I replied, turning to the wall of screens displaying Phoenix's global operations. Then send him up. Those 15 minutes were deliberate. Just long enough for him to see the Phoenix Technologies logo dominating the lobby, to realize that his niece's little startup occupied the entire building he'd once mocked me for entering. When Uncle Richard finally entered my office, he looked smaller somehow. His customary arrogance replaced by something approaching respect, or fear. Nice view, he managed, looking around my office. Better than the kitchen. I thought so, I gestured to a chair. Though the kitchen did provide an excellent perspective on how this family treats its own. He sat down heavily. Sophia, about the past. Save it, I cut him off. I'm not interested in apologies. I'm interested in results. Maxwell Properties needs a complete overhaul. Your management style is outdated, your technology is ancient, and your treatment of employees is appalling. We built this company. He started. No, I corrected him. Grandfather built this company. You inherited it and nearly ran it into the ground. Why do you think Phoenix's offer was so attractive? You needed us more than we needed you. I pulled up the company's financial records on my screens. Your profit margins have been declining for 3 years. Your attempts at modernization have failed because you refuse to invest in proper technology. And your reputation in the industry is toxic. And I suppose you're going to fix all that? I already am. I pressed a button and the screens filled with Phoenix's property management systems, the same ones Maxwell Properties had desperately needed. As of tomorrow, we're implementing complete digital transformation. Amanda and Michael will attend mandatory technology training if they want to keep their positions. You'd demote your own cousins? Like you demoted your own niece? I stood up, walking to the window. The difference is I'm giving them a chance to prove themselves. More than you ever gave me. My phone buzzed, a message from Emma. Family members arriving in the lobby. All of them. Perfect timing, I murmured. Uncle Richard, shall we head to the conference room? I believe the family is gathering for an impromptu reunion. The Phoenix Technologies conference room was nothing like Maxwell Properties' stuffy boardroom. Glass walls, cutting-edge technology, and most importantly, no kitchen for hiding unwanted relatives. They were all there, Amanda, Michael, my parents, even distant cousins who'd joined in mocking my career choice over the years. All looking shell-shocked as they took in their surroundings. Welcome to Phoenix Technologies, I addressed them from the head of the table. I trust you found the lobby impressive? We just acquired the building, along with your company. Sophia, my mother stepped forward. We had no idea. Clearly, I cut her off. You were all too busy laughing at my little startup to notice I was building an empire. One that's now worth more than Maxwell Properties ever was. I projected their company's new organizational chart onto the screens. Changes begin tomorrow. Those who want to stay will need to adapt. Those who don't. I shrugged. The kitchen's always hiring. Amanda burst out. You can't just walk in and take over. Actually, I can. And I did. While you were all playing at being business leaders, I was building something real. Something grandfather would have been proud of. I pulled out his old pocket watch. The only inheritance he'd given me besides that crucial 2% stake. He told me once that true success isn't about what name you inherit, it's about what you build with it. I chose to build something bigger than anyone expected. Over the next few weeks, Maxwell Properties transformed. Those who adapted thrived. Surprisingly, Amanda turned out to have a talent for tech implementation once she stopped fighting it. Those who didn't, well, the kitchen remained fully staffed. Uncle Richard retired to spend time with family, though everyone knew it was that or be fired. Michael actually apologized and asked to learn from me, showing more humility than I'd ever seen from him. 1 year later, I stood in my grandfather's old office at Maxwell Properties, now a Phoenix Technologies subsidiary. The company had doubled in value, modernized its operations, and become a leader in tech-integrated real estate. My phone buzzed with a message from Amanda. Meeting in 5. Bringing the quarterly tech adoption reports. We're ahead of projections. I smiled, touching grandfather's pocket watch. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just proving them wrong. It's forcing them to admit you were right all along. And sometimes, the greatest success comes from letting them banish you to the kitchen, while you quietly build an empire that will eventually own the entire building. The kitchen, by the way, I had it renovated into a state-of-the-art cafe where employees from all levels eat together. No more hierarchy, no more hidden relatives. Just a reminder that sometimes the most powerful person in the room is the one they least expect. Because in the end, success isn't about where they make you sit. It's about where you choose to stand. And I chose to stand at the top, looking down at those who once looked down on me. And now, every morning when I walk through Phoenix Technologies lobby, I pass a framed photo of that old kitchen where they once banished me. Under it, a small plaque reads, "From here to Sue." I never underestimate where someone might go when you force them to start from the bottom. Because sometimes, the view from the kitchen shows you exactly what needs to change at the top.